Hi, and welcome to your new ServiceNow self-service portal. I'm going to walk you through the different things you can do within the portal or the information you can access within the portal. What you're looking at now is the ServiceNow portal page, and this is the home page. There are three components that you can access in the portal. One of them is catalog items. So when you need to request something, which you will do from the catalog, you would do that from this portal page. Also, if you need to create an incident where something isn't working properly, either a service isn't working for you, or it's not working as expected, or hardware, maybe it's your laptop or a monitor or a phone. If something isn't working as it's expected to perform or expected to work, then you could create an incident to get help from IT. And lastly is knowledge articles. We have a knowledge base that will continually be built with knowledge articles. And these knowledge articles are out there to help provide the information so that you can resolve some of your own questions or issues, which is why this portal page is called the self-service portal page. The goal is that you can do what you need to do to maintain your work and to be able to stay up and running with minimal disruption to your work. Okay, let me start by walking you through the portal page. And also note, there are a few different ways to get to the same result. For example, you're going to see here these three tiles. I can go into the catalog by clicking request something, and then I can peruse through the catalog by category. So these are all catalog items that you can request should you need a service or access or whatever the catalog item is. Now I can go back to the home page in a couple different ways. One, I can click home within this breadcrumb. So this breadcrumb is showing me where I'm at currently in this portal. I can click home and go back home. The other way I can go back home, and this is regardless of where you are in the portal, if I click the UNC Pembroke icon, it will take me back home. So I can access the catalog from the request something tile. I can access the knowledge base, which is what holds all the knowledge articles, from this tile. And in a moment, I'm going to show you knowledge articles. And I can access the incident request form from this Get Help. And if I click Get Help, it opens up the Create Incident form, which is a very basic form with minimal information to fill out. You would just select the urgency between high, medium, low. And this is just a judgment call of how urgent your issue is and how quickly it needs to be resolved so that you can get back to working. And then there's a field to describe what your issue is or what is the problem that you're having. And then you would click Submit to send this off to the IT department. Now up here, you'll notice in the banner, I can also go to the knowledge base. I can also go to the catalog. This takes me to the exact same place as clicking this tile. Now this global search here on the home page, this will search everything. So whatever keywords you type into this search engine, it is searching catalog items, it is searching knowledge articles. And depending on what you type in, it might be searching the incident form. But once you're inside the catalog, then that search engine is only searching the catalog, which is right here. Or if you're inside the knowledge base, that search engine is only searching knowledge articles. So let's say I wanted to request something. And let's say what I'm looking to request is a shared mailbox. Now I can find it under popular items. So whatever is requested most often is what will pop up here. I can search for that catalog item over here within the categories, or I could type it into the search engine. So if I did it that way, I can open up the shared mailbox from there. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill it out. You can see some of the information is automatically populated based upon my user record. And at the moment, I'm impersonating Caitlin Campbell. So let's say her request is for a new mailbox. And then she needs to give the mailbox a name. And then she's going to add, every request is going to be different. It's going to add whatever information is necessary for that request to be fulfilled. So she's going to add the people that she wants to add to the shared mailbox. And I'm just going to randomly select a couple people. So you can see I've selected one person so far. Now keep in mind, I want to add access to this mailbox, but I could also do the same thing if this mailbox was already created. I can remove people from having access as well. I can remove everybody by clicking this button, or if there was already people who were a part of this mailbox, I would go in and choose remove access instead of add access. So let me add one more person. And then once I have all the mandatory fields filled out, and that's going to be anything with an asterisk next to the field. If it did not auto-populate, I would need to fill in the information. And I'm going to submit the record. So you can see here, if I scroll up, I'm going to submit the record. So when I submit this catalog request, I'm going to get, you can see here, kind of a summary showing my request number. Now this is going to go to whoever needs to fulfill this request. It's all part of an automated workflow that is built into the system. So if it needs an approval first, it will go off to the person or the group who needs to approve my request. Or if it's automatically approved, it will go straight to the person who will fulfill the request. Now I can see right here, if I click this caret underneath stage, I can see here the different steps it's going to go through. So in this particular example for this catalog item, it goes straight to fulfillment, and then it will be completed. There's no approval needed. So let me go back home, and let's say I want to request another catalog item. And let's say it has to do with training. So I'm going to go into the learning management system category. And what I'm looking for is a request for training. Now I could also type it up here into the search engine. So if I go into the catalog item called request for training, then I'm going to scroll down here And you can see it's, again, pre-populated with the user information. And again, if anything is incorrect or you want to change the phone number, you can go ahead and change it or fill it in if it did not automatically fill in, because these are required fields. And you can see I've got one remaining field that needs to be filled in. That's mandatory. So if I'm looking for, just as an example, let's say I want a small projector or a portable projector, because I'm going to be giving a presentation in the Business Administration 102 room. Now, also note that if you need to attach a document or a screenshot, and this is true anywhere for any request or even incidents for that matter, you can click Add Attachment. So that will always be there even before or after you've submitted your request. So I'm done filling out my request. So I'm going to click the Request button, which submits the record. And you can see again, I'm left with this confirmation page. And I can click here to see the different stages. So this one does require an approval, then it will be fulfilled and then ultimately completed. So at any point in time, I can come back to see where in the process my request is. So if I'm back on the home page, so that's a couple requests. Now, let me submit an incident, and then I'm going to talk about the difference between the two. So let's say something isn't working right. Maybe my battery of my laptop is not holding a charge. So I can come in here and click Get Help. I could also type in incident, and that would take me to the incident form, but probably the quickest way is just to click Get Help. Now, let me also show you something really quick. The incident form can be accessed within the catalog. So it does show up as a popular item and probably will always be there because it will be used often. Or I can find it under Inquiry Incident category. And you can see the Create Incident form is right there. But again, if I go back home, probably the fastest way is just to click Get Help. And that opens the incident form. So maybe my urgency is low because as long as I keep my laptop plugged in, I'm not going to have an issue. But I've got an issue with my battery that does need to be addressed at some point in time. Okay, I'm going to talk a little more here in a second about what's popping up here. But what's popping up here, just in short, is any catalog item or knowledge article that has keywords that match what I'm typing into my description here. So this can be used to help me. Maybe what I'm typing into my description, if there's already a knowledge article out there to help me resolve my issue, or let's say I was asking for, let's say my external battery charger wasn't working properly, and all I need to do is just order a new one instead of submitting an incident. I could go ahead and do that if that was one of the catalog items that came up. But in my case, nothing's addressed. I need to send this off to IT and let them know my battery is not holding a charge. So from here, I would just click Submit. So that creates my incident record. And you can see here the summary. It does show you my incident number. Also, this little paperclip was on the record, as well as it's here in case I forgot to attach a document. Oftentimes, especially with incidents, it's common to attach a screenshot that shows what's going on, or maybe it shows an error message. So you can always attach that while you're creating the record or even after you've created the record. If you forgot to mention something, maybe some additional information that you thought about, you can mention it after the record has been created. So I could supply my additional information and click post. Also, if the fulfiller who's trying to resolve my incident has a question for me, maybe they need to know what type of laptop I have or what type of screen I have, whatever that is, or how often it's happening or when did it start happening. If they send a question to me through this incident, I'm going to get an email notification, and I can respond to that email notification with my response, or I can come here to the portal page, go to that particular incident. I will see their question here in this activity, and I can respond to their question. So let's just pretend someone from IT in the service desk had, sent a question to me, and instead of answering it from the email that I received, I come straight to the portal and I can type in my response here. So their question would be sitting right here as the most recent activity, and then I'm going to respond to their question. So I give a response and then I post it, and that will go straight to them through this ticket, and then they'll have the information they're looking for. Now let me go back home for a second. You can see I can access all my open requests or my open incidents. I can just scroll down to any. These are all the ones that I have open at this point in time. I can also go up here in the banner and I can click my requests. If I click my requests, it will show me all incidents and all requests in this one list. So you can see this first one is an incident, the second one is a request, followed by a request, followed by a request, followed by an incident. You can tell by the record number. If it starts with INC, it's an incident. If it starts with REQ, it's a request. Now these are all my open requests, and I know that because my view right here says open. If you ever need to look at a past request from some time ago and it's already closed, you can actually change this to view all your closed requests. So if you want to look into a request that happened 6 months ago, all of your requests, whether it be an incident or a catalog item request, will be here listed under the closed. But for now, we're dealing with open. Now, again, don't forget, at any point in time, I can either click home in the breadcrumb, or I can click the icon in the upper left-hand corner, and that will always take me back to the home page of this ServiceNow self-service portal. Now I want to spend a little more time talking about knowledge articles and how they work in conjunction with possibly requesting something from the catalog or submitting an incident. And I needed to switch environments. So that's why it looks a little bit different. You'll notice there are no incidents and no requests currently submitted. So if I click knowledge base to go look at just all the knowledge articles that I have access to, and there's not very many yet, this is being built out. More of these are going to be created probably on a daily basis for a while as the knowledge base continues to get built out. You can see here, there's 4 articles that are within the computing category and 1 article within the learning management system category. So if I was just perusing through, I can see the title of the article right here, how to report a problem, or help desk remote support for clients with Windows. Or I could look at the learning management system articles. Now, typically what you would do is probably use the search engine. So if you were having an issue, then you could type it in here. So there's a couple ways to approach this. You can go straight to the knowledge base articles and just type in your search words and look for help on something you're needing help with. Maybe you're needing help with how to connect to a network printer. So maybe you type in network printer. So this is the only thing that comes up that matches my keywords. So that's not what I'm looking for. That's not helping me. So in this example, I would go just create an incident asking for help to connect to a network printer. Down the road, there might be a knowledge article that will tell you how to do that. And let me show you how that works when you're using knowledge articles in conjunction with creating an incident or creating a request. So let me go back to the home page. So let's say I think I have, an issue and I need to create an incident. So I go straight to the get help. And then I'm going to start filling out this form. And let's say my issue is I keep getting this authentication error message. And you can see as I'm typing, anything that matches my results, or I should say the results that match what I'm typing, will start coming up. And if I scroll down, you can see, and here's the difference between, here's a catalog item, because one, it shows you a cart, and two, it'll have the word, the little button for ordering it. But if it's a knowledge article, as I keep scrolling down, you can see it has the icon for a knowledge article. And of course, there's no order button. So I'm having trouble because I keep getting this error message within WebEx. But as I search for my results here, or search through my results, this looks like it might answer my question or my issue. So I see the title of the article, and I can get a preview of what some of the article is saying. So if I think this might help me, I'm going to go ahead and click into the article. And sure enough, this is exactly what my problem is. So I can access this article and do what it says to do to fix my issue or to fix my problem. And therefore, I don't need to go back and actually submit the incident because I fixed it myself. So that's how the knowledge articles will work in conjunction with, either you're requesting something, or more specifically and more common is you have an issue, you don't know how to do something, or something isn't working right. And there might be an article out there that will help you resolve your own issue, which is part of why it's called the self-service portal. The goal is that you can be a self-service or help yourself as much as possible. And that includes articles that might resolve your issue, or catalog items to request something that you need. And it all follows a workflow. You just request it and the workflow gets kicked off all the way until it's completed. Or you're able to submit your own incident, and then you can follow up on the status of an incident or the status of a request. That's another way that you have self-service. You can help yourself by checking your own status. So if this article answers what I needed, I'm not going to finish this incident. I don't need to submit it. I've resolved my issue, and I can just go back home, and therefore no incident was created ultimately. Let's say I have another issue, and I'm going to start by creating an incident. And maybe I don't know if there's an article out there at all, but luckily it is searching for me as I'm typing in my information here. So what I'm looking for is maybe I need to be able to work remote when I'm away from campus. So you can see here. So there's a couple catalog items. Those are not what I'm looking for. And as I scroll through, here's a couple knowledge articles. One of them is, oh, the help desk remote support for a client with Windows or a client with Mac. Well, I happen to have a Mac and that looks exactly what I need. So I open up the article and it gives me instructions on exactly what I need to do to be able to work remotely when away from campus. So again, I'm just going to follow what the article says, do the instructions, and therefore I don't need to create the incident because now my incident really is resolved. I fixed my issue myself. So I can go back home and I don't need to submit the incident. So in summary, there's three things or three categories or three components, if you want to think of it that way, of what you can do within the portal. You can request catalog items. And as we saw, those items can be an array of anything. It can be access to something where it's just a really quick, someone has to give you access. Or it can be, I'm requesting a second monitor. So you're requesting something new that you don't have. Or you're requesting a mailbox, for example. So, and this catalog is going to continue to grow as your organization grows with the ServiceNow platform. So as catalog items or as requests come about, they'll be created and then they'll be made available to you to be able to request. Same with the knowledge articles. These knowledge articles and this knowledge base is only going to expand more and more based upon what would help everybody so that they can resolve their own issues as much as possible. That way you're not waiting on someone else to help you. You can get back to work as quickly as possible. Let me take a moment to talk about the difference between a request and an incident. So here's your request, here's your incident. An incident means something isn't working right. So it's either completely broken or it doesn't work at all, or you can't get the access that you're supposed to be able to get or that you had, or it's not working as it's supposed to perform. So in other words, if your internet speed, is supposed to be whatever, whatever it needs to be so that you can work, and now all of a sudden your internet speed is so slow, your pages aren't opening up and you're not able to work, then something is wrong. So that's what an incident is. It's something that isn't performing as it should, or it's not working at all. Requesting something is something you don't currently have. So if you're requesting to access to something, that's because you never had that access. You don't currently have that access. Or if you're requesting a second monitor and you currently only have one, that is something new. It's not because your monitor is broken and you need another one. It's because you don't have a second monitor and you need a second monitor. So a request is not something that you currently have that isn't working right. A request is something new that you're asking for. So that's the difference between creating or submitting an incident versus submitting a request. So this is the ServiceNow portal page. Again, you've got the three components: the catalog, knowledge articles, and creating an incident to get help with something that isn't working right. Any point in time, you can follow up on any of your requests by going to My Requests. And let me take a moment to switch over to the other incident so that I have some actual examples. So you can see I can either go to my open incidents or my open requests from the home page, or I can go to all of my requests, which are incidents and catalog requests. So if I wanted to see where something was at, let's say I click into this particular incident, then you can see right here, you can communicate with the fulfiller, or if they've communicated to you, you can see that information here. And if I were to access one here from the home page, you can see maybe I go into this particular request. And if I wanted to check the status of my request, I just hit the caret underneath the stage. And you can see this would tell me that it's been approved. And now I'm just waiting for it to be fulfilled. So that's the completion of a walkthrough of your ServiceNow portal page.